Good afternoon and good evening to participants joining from the European time zone, and good morning to colleagues joining from the Americas time zone. Welcome to this webinar on the topic how to improve project execution capabilities in capital projects, jointly being held by Larsen & Toubro Infotech, LTI and SAP. This is part of our Intelligent Construction Enterprise series, bringing Intelligent Construction Enterprise to life series. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate the time you are going to spend with us for the next hour or so. Let me start with a quick introduction about myself. My name is Bala. I am part of LTI's SAP services based out of Europe, and I will be the moderator for this session. Before I introduce the speakers, a quick logistics. We intend to have presentation and discussions for about 45 minutes or so, and we have kept aside about 15 minutes or so towards the end for question answer session. On the right hand side of the screen, you will see a chat window, and that is where we would request you, as we progress through the content, please post your questions on the chat window. The presenters will try and address the questions as the session progresses, or towards the end, we will take up all these questions and be part of the Q&A. With that, let me do a quick introduction of the three speakers today. We have Francesco De Toma. Francesco heads the industry value advisory function for SAP in EMEA North. Welcome, Francesco. We then have Renato Zadro. He's a chief solution expert for LOB products and projects with a specialization in EPPM and based out of Waldorf in Germany. Hi, Renato, welcome. And we are also joined by Rajesh Inamdar. Rajesh is from LTI and he heads the SAP practice focused on manufacturing, engineering, and construction. Welcome, Rajesh. Those are going to be our speakers for today. If we could go to the next slide, please. In terms of the content, we are going to very briefly talk about, in the context of execution of large projects, what enterprises are aspiring for, what they are going through today. We then talk briefly about the challenges that are to be overcome as part of the project controls function. We are going to then briefly see what are the SAP's intelligent enterprise solutions that are available to specifically address these challenges. We will then spend a few minutes looking at how we have at LTI, we have created some additional solution extensions and packaged offerings specifically to meet the industry requirements. And we are going to look through some specific customer examples, how these have been brought to bear in real life. And finally, we will go through some points specifically what is in it for you in terms of value drivers. And as we said, we expect these to take about 45 minutes and we'll keep the final 15 minutes for Q&A. With that, I hand over the floor to you, Rajesh. Over to you.
Yep. Thanks, Balak. Can all of you hear me? Okay. So thanks, Bala, for setting up the context. And once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants. So we at LTI have been working with a number of project enterprises across the globe to help them improve their business performance. So in the process, we have acquired reasonable insights into the kind of business outcomes these enterprises are targeting. So a few examples you can see on the right-hand side. And to build these kind of business outcomes, obviously organizations have to build new business capabilities. And to build new business capabilities, they have to reimagine existing business processes. Okay. So examples of some of these business processes which we are helping our customers to redefine, reimagine. So they are listed on left-hand side. Okay. Now let us take closer look at both these business outcomes and business processes. So first and foremost, people are targeting improvement in project profitability. For example, can I improve my EBITDA by 2%? Then the other area which enterprises are targeting is quantum jump in their ability to deliver. So can I complete site installation works in just a few weeks rather than having to take a few months? So that is what people are looking at. Then there are objectives uh, around productivity, as you can see, equipment utilization, and also being able to extract more value out of the resources which are deployed on projects. So these are the outcomes which are targeted. Then with growing environmental concerns, people are also trying to improve their safety and sustainability record. So at the end of the day, what people are targeting is to improve their competencies so that they can handle much greater scales, complexities, and risks with whatever resource base that is available to them. So as they try to accomplish these outcomes, let's look at what are the business processes they are trying to redefine or reimagine. So for example, if they have to complete installation in just a few weeks, then they need to possess capability to perform modular construction, for which they require capability to do their designs and fabrication in modular way. So that is one area. Then the other area is around set of processes connecting planning and execution. So they're trying to establish end-to-end data backbone connecting planning and execution functions so that all those detailed plans worked out by planners, how they can be cascaded down to the last level of execution at construction sites without compromising logical integrity of those plans. And when these operation teams capture or sense actual execution data, how seamlessly it can roll up across the data backbone and made available to planners with minimal manual intervention. That is the second area that people are trying to redefine and reimagine. Then the other thing is quite interesting. So we all appreciate that in this industry, 60 to 70% of the value is added by business partners who are outside the boundary of your enterprise. So conventional ERP reference is not good enough. You have to look at the broader value chain for accomplishing resource optimization and enhancing collaboration, which then translates into creation of business networks to access all those resources. Then the other area where significant change is happening is project reporting itself. So conventionally, people have been creating Excel reports, PowerPoint presentations with the manually consolidated data, which by and large reports what has already happened on the projects. But that is giving way to visual dashboards and cockpits in which data gets updated on real-time basis. And these dashboards, they don't just report what has happened, but they also give visibility into what is going to happen in future. And then finally, there is entire spectrum of processes around digital technologies. And you must have heard all this jargon around connected processes, connected people, connected equipment. So people obviously are trying to realize all those processes, making use of digital technologies so that people can work from anywhere with any device at their preferred times. Okay. So this is what industry at large is trying to pursue. And in the process, obviously, there are key challenges which they have to overcome. So we have highlighted a few of those challenges, and for better appreciating those challenges, they have been grouped into distinct categories. So first category is quite fundamental one, that is around visibility and being able to predict project performance. So where exactly my project stands, okay? And if this is my project progress, then what is going to be progress when the project after, let's say, 1 month, 2 months, and where I'm going to end up when the project gets concluded. Okay, so being able to get quick and accurate updates about current state is something which is still an issue. Then there is in general lack of very reliable progress tracking methods and tools which can identify corrective actions, which can also assess efficacy of a specific corrective action. So in general, there is this gap in terms of people being able to make reasonably accurate forecasts so far as project performance is concerned. Then the next category of challenges is about contract and risk management. So I may have got all the resources which I need to execute the projects. I might have got detailed plans as well. And I've got all methodologies, tools, and technologies. But still my project goes off track. Reasons? Because there are multiple changes. So there are design changes, scope changes, So all these changes put project off track. Okay, and then there are situations when your financials, that is your revenues, cash flows, they are not in tune with the actual spend that you are incurring on the projects. Okay, so that is another category of challenges. And the third thing, as I mentioned earlier, that there are a number of entities which are outside boundary of your enterprise, and their activities and events concerning those entities affect your project performance. So orchestrating all these complex global supply chains, all these things pose another set of challenges. So all of it points to contract and risk management. And the last category of challenges is about managing resources, which is a perennial issue in capital project industry. And I don't have to explain you what are those challenges in terms of managing equipment and for workforce, but I would like to highlight a resource which is intangible in nature, and that is knowledge. Having right knowledge at right time to appropriate teams is very much important. Otherwise, it leads to lags, delays. It also causes number of reworks, so that is something needs to be avoided. And last but not the least, coming back to the topmost priority, improving profit margin. So how we can continuously increase productivity of deployed resources and improve profit margin. So that is another challenge that project teams have been facing. Now, amidst these challenges, when enterprises start their journey to pursue all those business outcomes that I mentioned earlier, they need to have very clear roadmap in terms of what are those series of steps that they should be taking so that they remain on course. So this is where LTI has created this process maturity value map. Okay, so let me explain you what exactly it is. So there are two dimensions of this process maturity value map. One dimension is project controls. So there are number of project controls that need to be orchestrated to improve execution performance, right? And these project controls, they go well beyond financials. So obviously we have to have financial controls, as you can see at the bottom: cost, revenues, profitability, cash flows. But apart from these controls, there are also other things which need to be tracked, monitored, like issues, risk, physical progress, quality, change request. So all these controls, they have to be deployed. And the other dimension is various levels of process maturity. So you can consider these as goalposts to achieve process maturity. So for example, to start with, whether we are able to measure what is going on. So that is something which is the first thing that needs to happen. So for example, if I'm going to track issues and risks, then what are those issues? What are those risks which are going to be incurred? What exactly are going to be their impacts in terms of cost, time overruns? So that is the first thing. Then the second thing is that having identified all those things, then whether I'll be able to factor in these impacts, factor in the corrective actions that I'm going to apply, and then give reliable predictions about schedule and cost performance of the project. So that reflects second level of maturity, ability to generate forecast. Then the third thing is that if those forecasts are not going to be as per the expectations, then how I can maneuver the things, how I can put a set of concerted actions, preemptive actions in place so that those outcomes, they are more in line with the expectations. So that is the ability to improve. So that reflects the next level of maturity. So this is how, as part of process maturity value map, we have identified all those steps, all those interventions which could be considered across various levels of maturity. So let us consider one which is most familiar to one, that is related to managing project financials. So being able to capture and measure actual costs which are getting generated, and then how they compare against the budgets, then how much is the work in progress, how much invoicing has been done. So I think by and large, organizations are able to measure this, they are able to capture this and report it with a fair degree of reliability. So that is the maturity stage that many of the organizations have achieved. But using this data, whether they are able to make right predictions about what is the cost that is going to be incurred to complete remainder of the project, what is going to be the total cost at completion, and what is going to be profitability, then probably just a fraction of those organizations will be able to make those predictions with a high degree of confidence. And then going beyond that, knowing that projects are incurring cost overruns, time overruns, what are those process capabilities to improve efficiencies, how I can make my contract management sharper, how I can put in place more sophisticated financial controls. So this is something which becomes important. So as you can see that as part of process analysis, LTI has made available this process maturity value map, which identifies specific interventions with respect to various project controls across these different levels of maturity. This is going to serve as a guide rail when organizations are going to pursue their journey to achieve those business outcomes. So with that, enterprises will be in a much better position to extract value from the enterprise applications and platforms that are going to be deployed in their environment. So with that context, now I will request Renato to step in and talk about all those robust SAP platforms and solutions which we can deploy with this kind of preparation from process perspective, and then what are those opportunities which are available to us. So Renato, can you take it ahead?
Yeah, Rajesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks.
Very good. Yeah, thank you, Rajesh, actually for the introduction to that topic. Let's have actually a look into what does it mean from an IT perspective to support these type of processes and to improve actually the maturity of the project control processes. And what you see on that slide is a very typical situation at many customers today. Customers run actually or store project information in many tools, in many business applications, which are traditionally all decoupled from each other. That means your financial cost plan may reside in an Excel spreadsheet. Your project plan and your project schedule is in a project management tool. You have your budgets managed in a separate tool. Approvals are maybe coming in through emails. And all this project-related information is spread across all these different tools. And now it's actually very cumbersome for people that are involved in these projects to gain a complete picture and complete view of the project, because you need to actually consolidate all this information. And by the time you consolidate that information, it may be already outdated because the tools are not automatically synced and refreshed. Yeah? So think of, an example, a project manager who needs to report actually and measure, as mentioned by Rajesh, actually the current performance of the project. Example, from a cost perspective, from a finance perspective. The project manager actually needs to have insights into the actual bookings for the project. He will need to have insights into how much time has been already confirmed on a project and has been booked on the project. He needs to know about the procurement and the purchase orders actually that are placed and how much of the purchase orders have been already delivered or have been already paid. So he needs to look into all these different sources and then consolidate that to be able to report the latest standing and the latest status about the project to the stakeholders. So that makes the whole thing very complicated and very complex, and especially if you need to measure, forecast, and if you want to improve your performance KPIs, you need to have actually direct access to this information. And also what is this then causing, or all these issues actually are causing that the whole management, the project management is very complex in handling. It takes a lot of time to prepare actually the decision, and the data is very often in poor quality. So you may also make or wrong decisions based on your outdated information. Now, if we look on can you move up the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So what does it mean now actually? How can IT help customers here to overcome all these changes? And we at SAP, we think, or we are convinced that project management can't be a decoupled tool. It must be an embedded tool which is integrated with the company's ERP processes and functions like FI, the finance and controlling, or human resources or procurement. And with that integration, you will be able to achieve a fully automated project controlling process, not only controlling but also reporting approach that will allow the company to better measure and forecast and improve the project activities. An example with this approach, it would be, an example, very easy to provide actually the insights into the availability of individual employees, because you know actually when this person is when this person is actually on vacation, or it's actually on a sick leave, or it's maybe assigned to another project. So you know actually when is this available, when this person is available, so you can assign it actually to a project. As soon as someone actually reports time on the project, you will actually see that from the CATS tool, you will be the information will be pushed into the project management, into the execution part, and will be immediately visible to the project manager. The project manager will immediately see how much time was already spent on the project and on the task in the project. And in the same way, the project controller received then also real-time insights into total efforts and the budget consumed in the project, and can use that actually to compare the baseline planning with the current plan with the actual cost. So all of the capabilities that we provide as part of the enterprise portfolio project management, they are deeply integrated into the ERP processes and into S/4HANA. And that will allow you actually to run a single source of truth, so a central repository for your project, where all the participants in the project have direct access actually to the required information in the ERP functions, in the ERP processes. So with that, actually, you can reduce the overall amount or effort that you need, at example, to report the project or to create month-end reporting. And one of our customers from the utilities industry actually was able to reduce this effort by 80%. Not only that he actually was reducing the effort for the reporting, but also he could fasten, or he could accelerate actually the investment decision process, because all of the information was available right away in real time with accurate data, so they could easily prepare actually the investment and the decision process, and could therefore actually reduce the time to prepare all these things and come to a decision by 30%. So you see actually by integrating all these project management capabilities into the ERP processes, you can offload a lot of work from the project team and the project managers, and actually improve the quality of the data that is required actually to measure the projects and to do better forecasts and improve then also actually the performance of your projects. And with that, I would like to hand back to Rajesh to give you a better insight, how this platform can then be actually used and enhanced by LTI to manage and to control actually projects.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Renato, for giving us insights into SAP platform and solution suite. So I would like to pick up these threads and take the story further. In fact, that is what we have done as a solution provider. So what LTI has done is a creation of a solution stack that rests on SAP S/4HANA Core with EPPM is extended core functionality. So that you can see is the foundational layer over here. And then we have created a series of industry extensions, again making use of SAP platform, which used to be called SAP Cloud Platform. Now it is called as a business technology platform. So we have created a series of industry extensions which make use of SAP architecture. So as you can see, we have also made use of SAP Analytics Cloud, and all these solutions, they function in a complementary manner with other existing SAP solutions like Ariba and SuccessFactors. So this entire ecosystem, we believe, delivers differentiated capabilities to project businesses. Okay. Now, instead of highlighting all these capabilities with the help of slide like this, what I would like to do is I would like to share with you a real life example how we are delivering value in real life for one of our customers. Okay, so this is a project which we are executing in Middle East region. It is in very advanced stage of completion. There were multiple go live waves that we had planned, and almost 70% of the implementation, 70% of the waves have already been completed. So before getting into details of the solution, I would like to give context about the organization itself. So as you can see, it's a large conglomerate. It has got multiple business division, engineering and construction being the flagship business of this conglomerate. It also has got project-based manufacturing, project-based services of supplying equipment and workforce to the ongoing projects. They are also into real estate and facility management. And cutting across all these businesses, so there are 20 business entities, 20 companies which are part of this group. So when we looked at the entire process landscape, it had a wide spectrum of processes. So there, as you can see, there are processes around financial management, controlling, human resources management. So both at corporate level and also at business division level. But what is at core is the entire spectrum of project planning, execution, monitoring, and control processes. Okay, and everything that requires to manage projects in lump sum turnkey manner. So it involves procurement, managing contracts with vendors and subcontractors, and also managing contracts with customers, then environment, health, and safety related processes, manufacturing, services, project document management. And this process landscape is composite one. That is, the organization uses number of specialized application for project planning and scheduling, estimation. Then there are number of industrial systems. So it was expected to build process integration across all these platforms. So we mapped all these requirements with SAP based solution, and this is a fairly simplified version of the solution that we are deploying for this group. And as you can see, it is resting on HANA Enterprise Cloud Platform. So if we were to offer this solution today, then we would opt for private cloud edition, but that is something which was not available at that point of time. So it is HANA Enterprise Cloud, and there is a fairly comprehensive SAP S/4HANA core resting on it. So as you can see, there are processes which are specific to the industry, EPPM comprising commercial project management, project systems, and then manufacturing and equipment maintenance related modules. There are also logistics related processes involving material management, quality. Even from finance perspective, there are very specialized solutions that we have implemented. So as you can see, apart from cash and funds management, there is also treasury and risk management, business planning and consolidation. So it is fairly comprehensive solution footprint just from S/4HANA core perspective. And beyond that, as you can see, we have built process integration with these SAP SaaS solutions. So SAP SuccessFactors for human capital management processes, C4C for all customer facing processes, and OpenText for document and content management. But the interesting thing is the solutions, the industry extensions that I talked about, which have been developed on SAP Cloud Platform. So planning synchronizer, what it does is that it extracts data from estimation applications. It also syncs up with application doing planning and scheduling, and creates a superset of planning data, which then can be sliced and diced and then pushed into S4HANA, depending upon which logic the organization prefers, to create project structures, cost plans, budgets, and resource spreads. So that is what is planning synchronizer all about. Then we have project Paychain. So what it does is that it brings various partners across the value chain on one single collaboration platform. It helps in translating work done by your subcontractors into payment applications, which you can review, and you can inject this data into your own payment application, which you can use for submitting to your customer. So that is Project Paychain. Resource Kaleidoscope is all about managing resources. So how to consolidate resource requirements across all the projects, and then match them against the resources which are available, and then having that process streamlining the entire requirements of resources across all the projects and fulfilling those positions. Okay. The next solution is about performance forecasting, and this is again quite interesting, because instead of having just one rule getting applied at project level, we have given flexibility to think of different rules which can be applied at different levels, different W-based elements, different packages. So for example, if I am running cost overrun of 10%, then doesn't mean that the entire cost overrun of 10%, that trend will continue for the entire project going forward. So maybe for some of the work packages, this trend will continue, and then as a project manager, I'm going to say that for this W-based element, 10% cost overrun trend will continue. Whereas in case of some work packages, I'm confident that rest of the work packages can be handled very much within budget, and there is not going to be cost overrun. Whereas there could be some work packages where in fact I have favorable condition, and I'm able to compensate whatever cost overrun has happened, and in fact I'm going to improve upon budget. So this is how I can, there are a number of rules which can be specified at different levels. So as a project manager, I can use my judgment, I can use intuition to make a more realistic forecast about project performance. And then there is this project management cockpit, which extracts data from all these solutions and provides insights into project performance. And last but not the least, is supplier portal, which gives a platform for collaboration with various business partners, transacting with them, and then working with a single set of data. So all these solutions have been realized on SAP Cloud Platform. They make use of SAP architecture, and they are tightly integrated with S4HANA Core. Okay. And then beyond that, as I said, there are a number of non-SAP specialized applications. So we have built process integrations with these applications, be it project planning and scheduling, cost estimation, or industrial systems like Weybridge. So this is the kind of comprehensive solution footprint that we have created using SAP platform, using SAP solution. And this is something which has enabled us to propagate industry cloud story. So as you can see, S4HANA Core on HANA Enterprise Cloud, complemented by this entire suite of industry extension on SAP Cloud Platform, and then using SAP Analytics Cloud for generating all those insights. Now, this is the cloud ecosystem that is fairly flexible, scalable, which you can quickly maneuver to meet dynamic requirements of the business. And that is something we believe would be able to help customers to extract more value out of the investments they would be making in SAP platform. Okay, so this is how we are working closely with SAP. We find out opportunities for co-innovation. Project Paychain was a solution that was developed in co-innovation mode with SAP. So we have vision, we have long-term roadmap, how to take this story further and how to keep generating these solutions which complement S4HANA. Okay, so this is something that we have accomplished while working on this project. Now let us look at what kind of benefits customer is getting out of this. So while describing benefits, I would like to correlate back to the challenges that I had mentioned earlier. So let's consider the first challenge, visibility and being able to make predictions about project performance. So here, with the kind of solutions that we have deployed, it is possible to predict a precise earn value, make those calculations accurate based on the progress, based on the percentage of completion that is approved by customer, correlating it with the financials that are coming from S4HANA. And similarly, with the planning synchronizer pushing in data from all the planning sources, it is possible to acquire visibility into the resources which are required to execute the project. So I would like to explain this by giving you look and feel of the solutions that we have created. So this is Project Management Cockpit. On left hand side, you can see all those real-time alerts, whether the latest issues, maybe issues reported in last 24 hours or last 2 days, 3 days, you can configure that. Similarly, what are those incidents from EHS perspective, which are those transactions which require approval of project manager. So all those alerts are appearing on left hand side. Then next column is about current state. What is my actual cost as against plan? What exactly is my actual progress as against plan 1? What are my cash flows? So this is where data is getting extracted predominantly from S4HANA backend, and it is being reported. It gives that current state. Knowing that current state, how the project is going to move ahead. So those projections I'm able to get over here. So as you can see, earned value and then expected cost at completion. And again, it is following real life situation. So the expected cost at completion projected at successive intervals of time, it is steadily increasing because of cost overrun, and it plateaus only towards the final periods. So these are the projections so far as cost is concerned. And then these are the resource curves across the timeline. So you can see material requirements, equipment requirements, manpower requirements across the timeline. So why it is, how it is possible to generate these requirements? Because now we have got that end-to-end data backbone, which pulls in data from whatever you estimated, whatever you planned, and then correlated with timeline, correlated with the project structure in S4HANA. So it is possible to generate these kind of curves. And then you can slice and dice this data, specifying specific materials, specific types of equipment, specific skill sets, and you will get visibility into all those things which are required to execute the project. Okay, and this is possible because this project management cockpit sits on top of that end-to-end data backbone, which starts with all those specialized application, S4HANA, and also those industry extension on the SAP Cloud Platform. Okay. Now the next set of benefits is around contract and risk management. So as we have been talking about enhancing profit margins, and to be able to do that it is necessary to nip in bud various issues and risks. Okay, so this is where we have made use of SAP EPPM solution. As you can see from this dashboard, various kinds of project risks, they have been captured in a very structured manner. So you can see risks along with their categories, subcategories, probability of incurrence, and if they are going to incur, then what is going to be the impact from cost, quality, and schedule perspective. So everything is captured in structured manner. And then through our extensions, we are arranging fit to this dashboard so that very little of this information is required to be entered manually by a backend person. So if I am moving around a construction site with handheld device, I encounter something, I notice some issue, I notice some risk, I make entries in my mobile app, and that can update data right over here. Okay, so just like risk, I can capture in similar fashion various issues, various change requests, and that gives a very rich database in hands of project management team to keep tracking project and to preempt various types of issues. Okay, so this is about managing risk by identifying various issues, change requests, and in the process creating opportunities for improving profit margin. Then the next thing is about the quicker conversion of project progress. So this is also one of the things which kind of make people struggle, that I'm executing the project, I'm achieving that progress, but it doesn't translate into financials. Okay, so this is where through our Paychain solution, customer is able to bring all the partners, all the stakeholders in the value chain on the same platform. Okay, so it provides a collaboration platform in which your business partners will be able to see all those orders that you have placed onto them, those material orders, those service orders, and as against those orders, your business partners would be able to enter progress. So you can see those tabs that are against the total quantity order onto them, how much has been achieved previous to date, how much is going to be entered as of current period. So all those things can be entered by your business partner in your own database, and then your contract management team can review these entries. They can ask your partners to rework, they can approve or reject, and once these quantities are approved, then these quantities are flowing seamlessly into your own payment applications that you are going to process to submit to your customers. And that is possible because Paychain provides very robust and logical linkage between supply side contracts and customer side contracts. Okay, and as you can see, there is a very industry aligned process by which you can keep track of all those payment applications you have created. You can see those successive payment applications, what was their value, and if these payment applications were approved by customer, then they get flipped into invoice in your S/4HANA system. What is that value? And for every payment application, how many iterations it has gone through with your customer, what were the changes that took place as part of each iteration. So that is something which is visible, and it is possible to generate industry standard formats which enable you to report your payment application to your customer. So this is about Paychain application. Okay, and then there is another thing that we have done is to correlate various project activities and events to cash flows. These are of three types: planned cash flows, actual cash flows, and projected cash flows. So by correlating activities and events, translating their impact into cash flows, it is possible to zero on trouble spots well in time, and then you can plan proper mitigating actions, interventions, so that your contract performance is as per expectations. The third category is about resources. So as I mentioned earlier, that there is a solution called Resource Kaleidoscope, which helps to gross various resource requests which are coming from various projects. So this is the view that a resource manager or operating person will get. So whatever resource requirements have been raised by different projects, they are visible in this operating dashboard. Okay, and out of those requests, how many have been created recently in last 24 hours, how many have been created in last 1 week and last 2 weeks. So that categorization is there. And of those requests, how many have been fulfilled, how many have been approved, how many are in progress, that is also visible. And you can slice and dice these requests as per individual projects, as per skill sets, as per the specific time window. So it gives multiple views in one single window in terms of what are all those requests, and then you can drill down what those requests are for how much period, and you can get it in graphical form. And in similar fashion, you also get a view of available resources. So what are the resources available pertaining to specific skill set, particular grade? So similar view is available, and then mapping the two, you are in a much better position to address various requirements across the project. And good thing is that the data regarding resources is coming from success factors, which is again SAP standard solution. It's a standard database for maintaining your human capital master data. So that's how this industry extension is working in complementary fashion with standard SAP, right? Then the next one, which I would like to highlight, is another scenario of resource management. Now imagine that everything has progressed, and now construction activity is going on at sites, and this is where there is need to do planning around different types of resources, and that is craft labor. So you can see a series of project activities on left hand side, and for any activity, let's say there is a certain quantum of work to be accomplished, say 5,000 cubic meter of concreting, okay, and you require certain category of craftsmen for that. Then with inbuilt productivity norms, this solution calculates how much headcount you will be requiring in successive weeks, so that you can complete this much quantum of work in the planned activity duration. So this is possible through a solution called Activity Workbench, which is again on a SAP Cloud platform, which is complementary to other solutions. So these are the kind of solutions that we have built to address various requirements around resource management. Okay, so all these solutions, if you consider together, they nicely fit into one another. They are tightly integrated with S/4HANA, and without doing much of customization, they give that requisite capability to businesses to address all those intricacies, all those nuances which are required to meet various challenges. And this is precisely what we have done while delivering projects for this conglomerate. And mind you, whatever I have shared with you is just for one project. Likewise, we have done S/4HANA implementation for a modular home construction company in UK. Then we have also deployed enterprise asset management and service management solution for one of the energy companies headquartered in Europe. We have worked for our own group company, which is Larsen & Toubro. And very recently, we have started working for one of the EPC companies in APAC region to deliver project management solution for them. So this is how we are taking this industry cloud solution to various global customers, and we are increasing footprints of the solution. So with such kind of industry cloud solution being available, and there being a clear vision and roadmap to develop it further, to keep delivering more and more value for the industry, how we can put all these things together and get benefited is something that perspective would be shared by Francesco. So I'll invite Francesco to present his view as to how all these things put together and how you can benefit out of it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rajesh, and thank you for sharing with us a very nice real-life example of the details and the solutions and the value that you can get from improving project execution capabilities. In the next 5 minutes or so, I will share with all of you some of the drivers and benefits that companies, or that we have seen companies considering when creating an investment case to fund such a transformational project like Rajesh was mentioning before. Can you click, Rajesh, please?
Yeah.
So, no, just once. So the overarching benefit that you get is actually the possibility to take decisions driven from data analysis. And that has been mentioned by Rajesh a couple of times, rather than gut feeling, thanks to real-time access and to accurate data. Can you click, please? When we consider, value buckets, value areas, when establishing an investment case, we always consider two aspects, which are the intangible benefits that you get out of the project, which in this graph are represented on the left-hand side. Anything that relates to strategy enablement or anything that relates to risk management, and everything that is related to tangible, quantifiable benefits, which are related to business process improvements, which we call business benefits, and also to a simplification of your IT landscape. Click, please. On the strategy enablement side, the concept is fundamentally about aligning with, or the value is about aligning with corporate goals and take better decisions when dealing with the unexpected. So that's really the value that we get out of the SAP and LTI proposal. Now, it is possible to get those benefits thanks to a mixture of technical capabilities which are available in SAP and LTI suite, as Rajesh was mentioning before, strict governance, and the real-time integration between planning and execution systems such as Primavera or P6 and SAP ERP. Now, when it comes to risk management, it is all about, the value is all about reducing the risk of slippage at cost, schedule, quality level, and be able to react quickly when things do happen. And even most importantly, to learn from experience to prevent those risks to happen again and to materialize in the future. Now, in order to get those intangible benefits, but still very important benefits, the solution capabilities that are required range from being able to link risk management with change request management process. With it's about leveraging advanced analytics to have full visibility on internal and external root causes. And last but not least, having real access and consistent data from both planning and execution systems. Now, that was about the intangible benefits. On the quantifiable sides, we have on the business benefits or business process improvement side. The value is obviously around reducing costs, ensuring to have enough cash, or shall I say oxygen, at project, cluster, and corporate level, and be able to better predict cost and schedule at completion. For example, it is possible to improve forecasts thanks to combining scientific rules based on best practices and data with judgment and expertise from the project manager. Or it is possible to reduce costs because of the automation of administrative tasks, such as generating reports or purchase requisition, or due to a better scheduling of resources, whether it's plant or equipment or people, workforce, leading to an increased utilization. On the TCO reduction side, it might be counterintuitive for many of you to say that, if you decide to move to an SAP solution landscape, SAP-based solution landscape, you can have a more modern system and reduce your costs. But that is actually the case because of a simplified IT landscape that an integrated system such as SAP can enable. And it is because of native integration, extended functional coverage, and the modern platform to enable modifications without touching the core of the system. Can you click, please? So what I have mentioned above are, best value drivers that we have seen in different projects. Some were mentioned by Rajesh. Some are common to other clients, or mentioned by Renato before. However, of course, this might or might not apply to you. And when it comes to your investment case, you should consider to access our SAP Value Life Management tool, because it is, one of the best or least known repository where you can actually find data about benchmarking with your peers, about assessing your process maturity, as along the model that Rajesh was talking before, and most importantly, get value drivers and benchmark elements to build your own specific business case. The good news about the tool is that it is free of charge. Just go on internet, type SAP Value Life Management, and you will have access to it. And it is a best-in-class tool. It contains data that, if you had to go with one of the four, big consulting companies, you will pay a fortune to get. And here it's just available at your fingertips to build up that investment case that can enable you to transform your company. So with that, I am done, and I think we have a few minutes left for questions and answers. Yes. Back to you, Bala.
Thank you. Thank you, Francesco. Thank you, Rajesh and Renato. That was useful. I hope the participants also found the content quite useful. We have a few questions that have come through. I'm going to take the questions and also call out the speakers for today. The first question is for you, Rajesh. Does an organization need to implement all the solutions that you explained together in one go, or can they deploy it in stages?
Okay. So one good thing about these solutions is that actually you can pick and choose the ones which are required for your organizational priority. They are not required to be implemented at one go, and they can be deployed in non-disruptive fashion. So actually you can go with the Paychain first, and followed by planning synchronizer, and then some of the things, if you don't require, then you need not implement them. So it gives a lot of flexibility to deploy these solutions, and this deployment is non-disruptive in nature.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for you, Francesco. Can you please explain a bit more about SAP Value Lifecycle Management? Where can I get more details on the same? I guess this is the last point you mentioned on this slide.
Right. So thank you for asking the question. Actually, this is maybe I can share my screen. Let me see whether I can do that. Yes, I would like to take over. Let me see whether I can do that. Can you see my screen? So as I was,
yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So as I was mentioning before, so this is a solution, a tool that is available for free. It's on the internet. So if you click on the, if you type in SAP, if you don't remember anything, it's SAP value something, value management at best. It will pop up as first in Google. And if you click on the application, it is just needed. You can register. Everybody can register. And you get videos available to teach you how it works once you are in. But fundamentally, it's an application that enables you to decide whether you want to do a business case, for example, by industry business processes, or you want to do it by line of business business processes. You can do it on finance, on procurement, or you can do on end-to-end processes like product controls or project management, and from an industry-based perspective. It also comes with the possibility to do benchmarking, or even, and the good thing is that it is this is a voluntary process. We have thousands of clients that have shared their data with us. It's completely secure, and you can really have benchmark yourself in terms of best practices on the process maturity side, and in terms of financial numbers around efficiency, effectiveness of your business processes, and it is also connected to some external databases for providing all available, the publicly available financial information. So you get really everything that you want to that you need to build your business case. Of course, being free, then it means that it's a kind of self-service activity, but that is not even true, because if you go on the platform, then there is ways to ask for help. And when you start asking for help, there will be somebody like me in my team, or in other parts of the world, that will be able to actually help you or with whatever questions you have, and make sure that you come up with your business case for justifying your investment.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Francesco. That was quite comprehensive and quite detailed in explanation. The next question has come for you, Rajesh. Question related to SAP CPM and EPPM. How can LTI solution extensions that you spoke about help work with SAP solutions and help extract more value?
Yeah, sure. So if you look at those extensions, we are creating upstream and downstream linkages to CPM. So for example, you saw that risk management dashboard that is provided by CPM. So we have created mobile apps so that not just one person, but the entire project team, whosoever encounters issues, risk, can enter their observations in their handled apps. And once it is entered over there, it directly fits into CPM. So all that manual effort that is required to populate a risk register in CPM, that is saved. Then the second thing is the planning synchronizer. So when we bring in data from various non-SAP applications and create that data of planning superset and create project structures in S4, the same data we are taking into CPM, and we are populating all those planning structures in CPM. So again, nobody has to enter data using analysis office, and CPM gets primed with that rich quality data that is coming from planning process. So that is how our industry extensions, they prime CPM and they help in extracting more value.
Thank you, Rajesh. We are almost out of time. Any final closing remarks from you, Renato or Francesco?
Yeah, no, I leave. Okay, well, Renato doesn't seem.
No, it's just,
so. You're there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to actually say that certainly in SAP we offer also additional capabilities which come on top of EPPM, as example, for analytics applications and for the dashboards, which again actually can be then leveraged by LTI, or the customer actually to build their own specific dashboards and analytical tools for project management. So it's not only about the EPPM solution set that I just showed you, it's also about all the other complementary tools that can be actually then adopted and adjusted for better management of project control.
Thank you, Renato. Francesco?
The knowledge of LTI and really the work that you guys have done in extending, in leveraging whatever was available already in SAP in terms of capabilities, which is a lot, and then you have added on top of it based on your knowledge, and those initial customer success are proving the validity of your strategy. And I look forward to working with you and making more customers successful with your expertise and our
Thank
technology.
you, Francesco. Rajesh, anything you would like to add before we conclude?
Well, again, I would like to reiterate the commitment that we, that is SAP and LTI, have for the industry. As I mentioned, we have very robust roadmap in terms of how to exploit SAP S/4HANA and business technology platform to generate all these solutions and then create more value for
Absolutely.
industry.
I think you said it very right, Rajesh. We are fully aligned with SAP's Rise with SAP vision. We are building these industry cloud solutions using SAP BTP and other technology components. But more importantly, we are bringing in that industry, what the industry requirements are, and we are tailoring the technology interventions to solve business problems. And that is the key message with which we want to conclude the session. On behalf of all of us here from SAP and LTI, Renato, Francesco, Rajesh, and myself, Bala, thank you very much for this session. And if there are any further questions, please reach out to any of us, and we will be in touch to continue the conversation. Once again, thank you very much for your time, and bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.